Okay, so good afternoon. We are almost done with our first batch of shoes. So we've got these 3. They are dry now. I'm gonna give them a bit of a brush. Got my glue gun. Let me turn on my power strip. So happy March, everyone. It is March 1st. We are officially into the month after Carnival. Fanny is, of course, here. Fanny. This is an interesting spot choice. Oh, she just wants to hang out. So we have finished, almost, closing in on our first 3 shoes. Should probably clear my space a little before I go live, but you know, I want y'all to have an authentic experience. So we did 3 king cake shoes. So cute. So this one is with the velvets, green velvet, butterscotch velvet, and purple velvet for the sugar. This one is with some extra fine glitter, so slightly chunkier for the sugar. And this one is a blend of both of them, so a little bit richer. You can kind of see the difference. All work fine. And then of course there's the sugar that we actually, the fake sugar that we actually sell in the kit. That's also great. But what we're ready to do now is I'm gonna hot glue some king cake babies on these, and I'm gonna make the transfers for these because they are ready for transfers. So I did not prepare a template or anything. I'm just going to freehand this. And I probably could get away with like lettering directly. Let me brush off all the loose glitter. And I brushed this a little to make sure it was stuck down pretty good. So that's nice and adhered. I probably could get away with writing it directly in there, but for the purposes of folks who are wanting to perhaps follow along with me and have a sense of what kind of time to allot for things, I want to be representative of that. Okay. So I've got a 6x9 Ziploc type bag. These are the bags we sell at the glitter store. These are my favorite bags to make transfers on. They're just a little bit more hefty. They kind of have a little more grip. And so I think I pulled out Bittersweet Symphony, which is like the chocolate, but I wonder if I should do like white, like for frosting. And this is a trick I'll tell y'all. When I'm thinking about what color I want to make my transfer or do my lettering, I take a little pinch of the glitter and kind of pinch it on there. And that way I can kind of see if I like the contrast, if I think it looks good. I do like the brown. And then it's white velvet, so that would look kind of, let me do a little pinch of white. You know what? Since they're transfers, I'm going to make 3 white ones and 3 of the brown. And then I can decide tomorrow, or whenever they're dry, I can decide. Okay, so that in mind, I'm going to take some metallic tulip puff paint. And I'm going to get myself, you know, I'm in the process of reorganizing the space, but all right. Get myself one of these needle tip bottles. This is what I like to use to make my transfers. And I have a transfers class on the schedule for March, but she is sold out. Both of my March workshops are currently sold out. So not to despair, I will add more classes. Always gonna be more classes. All right, so I've got my squeezy. Hopefully y'all can see okay. All right, so I'm gonna write, you can put a template in here and trace if that's your vibe. I've written the word muses so many times, I don't really need a template for just writing it in script. If I was doing a different font, I would probably go ahead and print myself a template and use that. Y'all can maybe see. It's upside down, but you can kind of see. All I'm doing is squeezing the dimensional paint out of the tube onto the bag, writing the word muses. Yeah, and I'm making it pretty loopy so that I have that option when I put it inside the shoe. I want it to look like a big old cinnamon swirl. It's kind of what I'm going for. And I could do this any number of ways. I could do this in the same color as the sugar. I could do this. I usually do brown, but white is fine too, because it looks like just extra frosting. But I probably will do the Bittersweet Symphony, which is like a chocolate brown. All right, so I know it's flipped because of YouTube. You can see I was writing, and when I got here, it puffed a little air bubble, so I just started over, because when I peel it, it doesn't matter how it's spaced out. Okay, so I'm gonna make this. I have white velvet, which would look good, but I think I want a little bit more sparkle in there. So I've got just a mix of white crystals that I think would be good. And the nice thing about this is whatever I don't use, I can just save for a different shoe, or I can sell it upstairs at the glitter store. So those are, it's hard to tell because the light isn't terrific in here, but those are now nice and glittery. Some of them I made really loopy swirly. Some of them I made a little less loopy swirly. So when these dry, and I got to give them overnight to dry, but I can peel them and stick them inside my shoes. And then they're ready to throw, because a shoe isn't done until it says Muses and the year. So I made 3 white ones. Let me go ahead and make some brown ones. Okay, so this is Gold Scribbles. Do I want to, I'm trying to decide. Sometimes I get enough control just using one of these. I always get more control if I use the squeezy bottle, but it's an extra step to put it in the squeezy bottle. So there's not really right or wrong. It's kind of, you choose your flavor of inconvenience. So I personally, let's do one and see. So I had some messed up transfers that I started making, and they got a little smudged. I was doing some, so I saved the bags because you can reuse the bags again and again. And that's just another spot where you can save a little money. All right, let me see. Yeah, that's not bad. That's okay. I'm gonna do one, but then I'm probably gonna switch over to the squeezy bottle because I just think the needle tip bottle, yeah, that's just not the level of control that I want. It's not bad, it's legible, it's just, Sorry, y'all. Sometimes the slow and annoying way is the better way to do it. And sometimes the slow and annoying way is just slow and annoying. But often it is slow, annoying, and superior. So this might be one of those. Yeah, that's just flowing a little more smoothly. And this was a gold tube that I already had. I've got a very disorganized bin behind me that has all my empty tubes and all my filled tubes. Yeah. So making my transfers. And I will say I do tend to kind of make bigger batches. I don't tend to do like 3 shoes worth of transfers at once, but I want it to feel approachable for someone who's kind of maybe at a slightly earlier phase of their shoe journey and isn't necessarily going to do it the way someone who's been doing it 15 years, would choose to do it. I want it to be accessible, approachable. And if you are struggling to get your stuff even, a template will definitely help. Kind of losing it a little on this last one, which makes sense. This is a bottle that has been sitting for a minute and maybe wasn't all the way full when we started. Let's see if we can just finish this last one. All right. Sometimes you fight it and you fight it and you fight it. It's very aggravating to me when I'm almost at the end of the sheet and then the bottle runs out and it's like, oh, come on. But I'm going to slightly refill my bottle. And squeeze in one more iteration of the letters. I'm just squeezing a few extras in on the sheet, so I definitely have enough to work with. All right, so a little bit more choppy, but this is kind of what my transfers really look like. The clean and pretty ones that I sell that have, you know, all the little ducks in a row, that's not kind of, I work a little bit, my work for myself is a little sloppier than the work that I sell, which I think is probably true for everyone. All right, so those are a nice kind of cinnamon brown. I used to, when I first started doing king cakes, I would mix some cinnamon into the glitter because I thought that was fun. It kind of made it smell like cinnamon and it gave it like a little bit of that toastiness. And I thought that was really super fun. Though I don't know what people's like allergies are. So it seemed kind of uncool to just like put something in there without warning. So I don't know if anyone's allergic to cinnamon. I just didn't want to run the risk. But if you are making if you are making one for someone you know and you know they don't have a cinnamon allergy, that's a fun little extra. All right, I'm just cleaning up some of these ones that got a little bit sloppy. All right. It might not work, but it's worth a shot. All right, but I'm gonna have enough on that sheet for what I need. And so those are my transfers. I will let those dry overnight. And then once they are dry, we will peel them and we will glue them onto our shoes. I might direct glitter one of them just to show y'all kind of what that looks like. Yeah, I think I'll do one. So this is something that I do now that I'm and this is something I can only do for the word muses. Any other word and any other even font besides this one, I would need a template and a transfer. But I have enough muscle memory now that we've done this thousands of times. All right. And I'm going to put 2027 in there. Very nice. Direct glittering is faster if you make no mistakes, and that's a big if. And I will say, part of what, nice little cinnamon swirl. Yeah, I like that. Part of what has made it so that I can do that is that I'm confident enough that if I have to wash it out, I can wash it out. Let me go ahead and do this white on this one, since I'm kind of on a roll. But I think I have still represented the time of a transfer because I made one, and I'll place a transfer on the last one so y'all can see what that looks like. Oh, I might be about to show y'all what I mean by rinsing it. I maybe jinxed myself a little there. But that's okay. We can always rinse off the paint once our shoe is dry. But I think I'm okay. But nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as we kind of have an idea of what we're going to do to fix them. So I'm putting this on there a little bit thicker. I know that my tube is low and I should refill it, so what happens is entirely my own fault now. Okay. It always gets to the end. If I have 100 shoes to glitter, or I have 1 shoe to glitter, and I fill up the tube the same, the tube can tell that I'm trying to finish. All right. Muses? I can't fight it. I don't know why. I don't know why I have, oh, this one's my full one. I don't know why I don't learn. And as you're filling, it can help to kind of tap it down there. Sometimes you put the paint in there and it just kind of sits right in the neck of the bottle. Sometimes you put the paint in there and it fills up easy, but oh, like that. There we go. That's enough. All right, better now. 20, 7. It's always weird to switch over to the next year, but I think that is clean enough. So now, I have the blended glitter. It would be cute to kind of ombre it, but risky because I don't know exactly how it'll read. I think I'm gonna do what's safe. I'm gonna do just white on white, and see. Yeah, that's pretty. All right. So. I have a few little chunks that were in my white mix because I didn't, filter her like I should have, but that's fine. Because I can take the chunks out with my tweezers delicately. But it's one of those do as I say, not as I do things. You will have an easier time if you filter your glitter. All right. So that's what it looks like with cinnamon. That's what it looks like with frosting. Both are really cute and really pretty. And then this last one, I'm going to do a transfer on tomorrow. So what I am going to do right now is hot glue my king cake babies on. I love it. All right. I'm just putting them on the front of the cake. Ready to go. Ah. Whoops, dropped him in the glitter. He got a little sparkly behind. Like a lot of New Orleans babies. He got a little sparkles on his behind. Okay. Looking good. And I will say, we've had some on again, off again king cake baby shortages in past seasons, including this one. So if you get the king cake baby in your king cake, save it and rinse it real good, because you might want to put it on your crafts. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3. These two are done when their lettering dries, and we'll put them in bags. This one I'll do with a transfer, so she'll be done tomorrow whenever I do the next session. I could do it tomorrow, but I will wait for the purposes of demonstration. So those are two, but these are two basically done. I will probably put a little jewel there, probably just a little white half pearl, I think would be good. So I'll keep an eye out for that. That I do tend to do kind of all in one big batch. I put my shoes temporarily into the thin cotton candy bag, so we can talk about this in the next session. I put my shoes while they're temporarily being worked on but not like immediately being worked on. Basically, they're done enough that I don't need them out and on my bench, but they aren't quite ready for final bagging. So these probably need a little jewel on the back, and I'll do like a double check to make sure everything on there is sturdy. I'll put them temporarily into thin plastic bags, and their final bag will be that heavy, heavy plastic bag with the ribbons on it. But that's 2 7/8 done. We're very close. Those are big step. We're making progress. I'm very excited. So since we still have a little time, I thought we could do the next little bit of our pizza shoes. So let me clear my spot and we can do that. When you are done with your tubes, make sure you put their little caps on them. These come with, it's got a little neck to go on the bottle. I tend to take it off while I'm working and then put it back on there. But recap your tubes. That will stop them from drying out. It's also not a bad idea to put them inside a sealed Ziploc bag. That helps them not dry out also. Okay. So all we're going to do today, we've maybe got just enough glue still in here to do this, but let's find out. Ready to go? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you put the glitter on your crust, you're going to start paying attention to where the edges are. You don't want to get too wild. You don't want to color too far outside the lines here. But you can always come back in and clean up the silver. And in this case, that single coat of silver looks really good, but I always do 2 coats of silver because that 1 coat is deceptive. It sometimes looks a lot better than it actually is. And just over time, the glitter falls off a little bit. So I just always do 2 coats just to be consistent. And I don't go all the way down because I'm going to put some red on top of this to make the pizza sauce. So I don't need it to be perfect, clean all the way down because I'm going to cover it up. You certainly can, but right now the most important thing is the crust and the little bit of dough right beneath the crust. Oh, see, I'm talking about how good that single coat of silver is, but I know better. I know that I can't trust that single coat. It's not about trust. It's about, I know what that single coat's limitations are, and I wouldn't ask it to do all the heavy lifting of a fully completed. All right. Glittered work of art. 1 down. Okay. Set her down there. Do 1, 2, 3. This might might not be enough glue to get us through all the crusts, but we'll see. They don't take that much. Just getting in the nooks and crannies. And you do want to kind of get in the nooks and crannies because the crust is sort of twisty. The rope kind of makes that interesting texture. All right. So a little bit of kind of almost a pokey brush stroke does help. All right. And you can kind of see I'm trying to kind of cut in the edges, you know, a little bit precise. I'm not too worried, but I do want to get all the crust covered and kind of mostly hug the curve of where the glitter changes to the silver. I would like it to be as tidy as I can get it without stressing too much. Because tidiness now prevents me doing as much touch-up work later, but there's also nothing wrong with doing some touch-ups. So you decide what's your flavor of inconvenience. And by all means, have that. All right. So y'all can see I kind of accidentally, my brush kind of spilled over a little bit. That's okay. I can clean that up when I do the second coat on the silver. I'll just tidy that up. But basically, as soon as I start doing second coats, I try to be tidy. And we kind of hope for the best. All right, 2. 1, 2. I've probably got enough to do the third, and then you'll have to just trust me on the fourth. Because we were shooting to do, it'll be the same as that one, and I have many others, but I want to do representative volumes. Oh, I might have enough glue. I don't know. Let's see. Some of the little hot glue spider webs are kind of getting into my glue, which is not my favorite thing, but it's also not a big deal. My favorite way to clean up the spider webs at the end is I take a hot glue gun, not a hot glue gun, sorry, a heat gun, and I do just like a little whisper all over it. And that works pretty well. You have to be careful not to overheat stuff because some things, you know, are plastic and will melt, like your foam balls. You don't want to heat those too much. They will start to kind of shrivel and crackle, and that's no good. But that is kind of my go-to is a heat gun, but I don't do that. I don't do that till the end because I feel like I'm just going to keep on. I'm going to take the web, I'm going to heat the webs off and then make more webs and then heat the webs off and make more webs. So rather than do that, I usually wait to the end. But that does mean that sometimes I get some webs at inopportune moments. All right, she looks good. Okay. And when I go back and have them all glittered, I'll check and see if there are any spots on the crust that need a touch up. Because I'm really only doing one coat on the crust. So some touching up is probably going to be the name of the game. You don't mind a touch up. And in general, I do not recommend putting wet glue on top of wet glitter, by which I mean glitter that is sitting on wet glue. So if you wet glue and you glitter and you notice you missed a spot, don't come back in with the glue. A small touch-up is not a big deal. And something like this that has kind of a bumpy texture, also kind of not a big deal. But if you are trying to do we have enough? Let's find out. If you're trying to do kind of a patch up it's going to be kind of bumpy. And so you're just going to lose a lot of this nice, clean, smooth glitter texture if you try to put wet glue on top of a glitter layer that still has wet glue beneath it. So that would be my recommendation. Okay. We're looking good. A few little webbies. I'm really scraping the bottom, but I'm determined. Today, the name of the game today is like, will my stubbornness win? I'm too stubborn to pour more glue. I'm too stubborn to put more paint in the tube. You know, whew. Maybe today is a day of cautionary tales. Maybe watching me do that, you'll be like, oh, that looks frustrating. I think I'm going to just do it correctly. And I support you. Okay. But it is nice. It is a good feeling to use every little bit of something. There's a sort of twisted satisfaction in that. Okay. Okay, so we did all 4. All right, so we started the lettering for our king cake that's gonna have transfers. We started making those transfers. They need to dry overnight. I did a little direct lettering on the other 2. So those are done once they dry, or mostly done once they dry, basically ready to go in their temp bags until their final touch-ups. And then I got the crust glittered on my slices of pizza. And I know I said, oh, next time we're going to do flip-flops. Next time we're going to work on pizza toppings. We are taking it at whatever pace works. So next time. There's still plenty of time and still lots that I want to do, but plenty of time to do it. So we're all good. I hope everybody's post-carnival, I hope everybody's March is shaping up nicely so far, all of one day in. And I will see you guys the next time I do a session. And I think I'm going to have to figure out how to, I guess I'll just keep numbering the sessions. I won't be like February session 1. So I'll just keep numbering the sessions probably. So like next session will be session 8 and we'll just keep going like that. Probably. I have some thoughts on how to organize the content, but those are neither here nor there. So appreciate y'all. As always, hope everyone had a beautiful weekend in this beautiful weather and continues to have a beautiful March. I will see you guys soon.